cinema and the theaters aren't dead.
Yeah.
It's just that we were tired of what we were getting for so long.
Yes, we're tired of getting schlop for the longest time of just like, hey, let's just keep doing the same recycled schlop. So
Over and over and over again.
yeah, so definitely I think that we are in the era of getting a breath of fresh air a little bit, you know?
I definitely think that cinema is in the right place. Movies in general is in the right place. And it's almost like a new generation is coming. And, and we're seeing it like live in front of us. And you notice it too. Like, you feel it. Like, holy shit, like the movies are back.
The YouTube to filmmaker pipeline is so crazy right now.
Yeah, and it's a crazy thing to watch like in real time.
Yeah, like it seems like it is going unfailed at this point.
I swear,
you know, because like what I've noticed is a lot of these new guys that are coming in, what I think is happening is it's just that fresh, like the new ideas, the new fresh concepts that we haven't gotten in a really long time, where a lot of these studios just keep recycling the same. It's like, oh, let's just take this IP and then let's change it a little bit and then do whatever the hell else we want to do with it. And we're starting to see people like Curry or, you know, Kane, like these dudes decided to do something that nobody even has ever heard of. You know, these are original ideas, you know, and Backrooms is kind of like a half and half, but
Obsession is very much like a, you know,
Obsession is
like a wish story, but like I don't think I've ever seen
this take on it.
Yeah, and the way he did it, you know.
Yes. I thought
wishing for someone to love you is like so like such a curse to wish to make. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I think it's a cliche too. But it
definitely,
works,
definitely. It's like one of the like genies.
Exactly.
Like, one rule is like don't wish for someone to love you, and it's like that movie shows that's the reason why not to do it. You know what I mean? And I think it's just interesting to see like these young guys who are like, you know, very similar age to us. You know what I'm saying? They're all like around the same age as we are. You know, they're like in their 20s, early 20s or mid 20s or whatever, and it's like they grew up on a lot of good film. And I think what a lot of people don't understand, because a lot of people will give to like, you know, people who are like Gen Z or whatever the fuck, right? Like people who are our age, and they think that all we know is like fucking iPads, and TikTok, and 6'7" and stuff. But it's like we grew up with parents who watched all this stuff.
Thank you.
So it's like they were able to put us on all these like good movies and TV show and music and stuff. And a lot of people from our generation, they take all that and they make new things with it.
I was gonna say,
it's like, you know, we grew up with a lot of, you know, good films that came out in the 80s or 90s or early 2000s that we used to grow up watching, and it sucks that we're tied into like the whole franchise booms that were happening with like, you know, the Marvel stuff and everything. But I think a lot of people in our generation really do truly enjoy these like single projects like Obsession or Backrooms. Just I think Backrooms is gonna end up making like its own franchise or whatever.
Oh, it definitely is.
But that's the size.
It definitely is.
But I think that a lot of people from our generation, I think they are real proof of that we like to see original stuff. Stuff that we've never seen before.
No, 100%. And I think mainly about the original projects that really drag most of us to these theaters is the idea that we all crave just simple storytelling as well. Like think about a lot of the stories that we grew up watching, you know, even when it went to cartoons, you know, like look at the early Shrek movies, you know what I mean? It was a simple story of, you know, the guy has to go save the princess or whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? And there was a little bit of a twist in it. It was a lot of that form of storytelling that was just simple, or it was just like, you know what I mean? And versus like now everything needs to be this bigger building blocks of the Marvel universe or the DC universe or the whatever universe. So it's just a thing I'm saying of like, I think these movies, they worked also because they were just simple stories. And Backrooms is a little bit more, you know, a little bit more complicated, obviously, than Obsession. But for the most part, compared to a lot of the other stuff like Marvel or whatever else we're getting, bro, this was just a simple one-off thing that will probably continue on and make a franchise, which I'm actually kind of excited to just see, because even then, I don't really have too much of a problem with that, because it's a new franchise that you can't really mess up too much. You know, compared to like everybody's like, oh man, well that's not a part of the continuity of Superman, or that's not a part of Spider-Man 186, you know, and we have all these other people that are just kind of all over the place with whatever. So I think that now we're getting in an era where these younger guys, like you said, where we grew up watching a lot of the stuff that might have been in the 80s or the 70s or the 90s or whatever, and we grow up and we still respect these projects and we'll pay homage to the people before by creating our own new things, but we'll still maybe add some of their tropes to it, or we might still take inspiration from the way they shoot some of their movies, or whatever the case may be. I think that's always gonna hit, because it's like, bro, if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know, we've heard that saying a million times. So that's what I believe.
And I just think it's the thing where these newer, younger guys are coming in with ideas that, you know, we've never really seen before. And, you know, having like these older directors and all that stuff, it's like they're going to do whatever's successful for them. But what's successful for them, we've seen a bunch of times over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I think when you get like a younger guy who are in their 20s, it's the same thing when Spielberg or Martin Scorsese were in their 20s. It was something that we've never seen before.
Spike
so
Lee.
Coming out with, Spike Lee also, hell yeah. So when they're coming out with all this new stuff that we're seeing now, it's very similar to like that boom from the 80s and everything like that, where it's like all this stuff is new, fresh, original ideas that would then become these franchises that we keep copying all the time and stuff, you know? And I think that we are starting to see that now with these guys, and it just happens that these guys are coming from YouTube or social media in general, where you know, they're getting their creativity off in a way that we've never been able to do before, that we can in today's time, where you could grab a camera and go record some stuff and put it out, and maybe a couple thousand or a couple hundred people will see it, and they'll put it hella tough.
And then you can just create a whole
and you could
thing
create
out
off of that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I think that's such a cool way. And I think those guys being successful, where it's like, you know, Kane Parsons or Curry Barker or the dudes who may Talk to Me or Leherin or whatever. And I think other people are going to see that, and they're going to want to replicate it. Not by creating the same thing that they've made, but they're gonna replicate it by, I can make my own thing too, like these guys.
Thank
did.
you. Yeah. And
because I think back then, when like, you know, Spielberg or Scorsese or Spike Lee, when they're making something, it's like, I would never be able to, like, how do I even begin?
Exactly.
To do
like how did bruh make Star Wars? You know, you're just sitting here like, what is even going on, right? But I get what you're saying, and I think that now with the, you know, creation of social media and the internet, I think that, you know, Curry and Kane are definitely going to be the first of many of, you know, new directors that are going to come from social media, because, you know, you just see people that do short films that are great. You know what I mean? There was what's that one, Lights Out? You know, that was a short film on YouTube. You know what I mean? So we definitely, and it became a whole feature film in the theaters. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of those. I think Mama was also another thing as well. Shout out to Andy Muschietti. I heard that was it started as a little project at first. I don't know if it was on YouTube, but there's a lot of those as well that start on the smaller stage, as you know, especially from social media. So I think this era that we're in right now is definitely going to be interesting, that we're going to see a lot more directors that might even be younger than guys like Kane, because Kane is only like, what, 21? You know,
Kane
so
Kane is like he's 20, actually. I don't think he's,
you know what I mean? Yet. So, dude, bro can't even get a drink yet. You know, it's like, this is crazy. And he's directing these larger than life projects, you know, like Backrooms, and, you know, now Curry is about to go on to do A24's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it's like, man, bro, you know, and I'm just happy for these guys, because it just opens the doors for the rest of us. You know what I mean? The rest of us that want to get into film, or the rest of the YouTubers that just want to, you know, create something that's and bigger they wanna,
than being on YouTube. I think a lot of stuff like on social media or on YouTube, whatever, it gets the stigma because it's like, oh, it's just
TikTok a little YouTube or TikTok shit. Yeah, exactly.
But I think seeing these guys, and even I forgot her name, but old girl who made Abbott Elementary, like,
on YouTube and Vine.
Stuff, you know?
Now she has her old show on HBO Max.
It's like one of the biggest shows on, not even on HBO Max. It's just like on regular TV. I was
gonna
say,
or something
like that. So it's like, it's even bigger just being like, oh, you got some show that's on some streaming service. Like, nah, bro, this shit's on it's on cable.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's not on local cable. That shit's on cable TV, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I think that shows how big that influencers and these social media people are getting, you know. And I think it started with, like, you know, first you will see people going from like YouTuber, TikToker to musician.
Yes,
there's that pipeline.
Yeah,
which I think is, no offense to any musician, but I think that's
a little easier
pipeline to go through.
It definitely is. Yeah,
than becoming a full-fledged
filmmaker, director,
TV producer, or, you know, creator of a TV show and stuff. And
even the people that become actors off of it as well is a little bit interesting too.
Like Rudy Mancuso was on the Welcome to Dairy series, and he started off on Vine, you know. So I think it's this thing.
Melvin Gregg, he was on Snowfall.
Oh yeah,
he played Man Boy, and, you know, he was in Vine. He's a big Viner. So it's like you go from there, and you kind of just start seeing a lot of these people that eventually grow and do their thing. You know what I mean? King Batch was doing his Dougie for a minute, you know.
he was in a couple movies.
You know, so yeah, you start looking at that and go, wow, because I think most of us that, you know, do YouTube or anything on social media, we always assumed there was that barrier to entry, right? And I think now we're in an era where that barrier has now almost vanished, where it's like now a YouTuber can just go and be a director. Like back then, like you said, it was just like, oh, they're doing those little YouTube videos, those little TikTok videos. Now it's like these companies that are reaching out to people to promote their movies and stuff like that. They're reaching out to creators now. You know, they're not just gonna go and put it on billboards and that's it.
Yeah,
they're adding this new element. So I think with the world changing, it also helps with these movies as well. And you know, it helps the normal creators who actually are, we're the everyday people. You get what I'm saying? So it's like we're going to have more of a closer connection with the audience than a lot of these bigger directors like Christopher Nolan right now, who's about to probably, I'm not saying Odyssey's not going to make money, but it's going to get a lot of people mad. And you kind of start knowing that these people are out of touch now. They're so, like, Christopher Nolan is doing movies where, bro, Oppenheimer, they'll get him a real nuke. You know what I mean? They're going to get him a real atom bomb, bro. Like, to be honest with you, right? So you start to, like, think the reason also is these guys are everyday dudes. You know what I mean? Like when we went to the movie premiere for Obsession, like Curry, he's a normal guy.
Yeah, they're dudes like us.
So that's why
I think that has that appeal too. Where it's
thank
like,
you.
Oh, like it's like almost like watching my friend make a movie.
Thank you.
I'm there watching it,
and it's good.
Yeah, and I think that it's like they're more attached to the generation of now.
Yes.
Same way that Spielberg and all these guys were attached to that generation
you
of
can
that time.
feel it in their storytelling.
And I think these newer directors that are coming out, they're more attached to our generation, so they understand the things that we would like to see. And I think that's what makes these movies a lot more successful than like Mandalorian and Grogu, where it's like these movies were knocking that movie out of the park.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? When it came to, you know, the box office and the people who are coming to go watch those movies. Like I remember when I went to go watch Mandalorian and Grogu, the dude at the ticket thing even made a joke, was like, oh, it's your guys' own private screening, because me and my girl were literally the only people in that theater watching that movie.
I was gonna say, I was like one of the few people when I went to watch Mandalorian and Grogu.
It was literally just me and my girl went to go watch
it was
that
like
movie.
Me and 3 other guys, and one of the other dudes was asleep.
Yeah, but then when I went to go watch Backrooms, it's like
it was packed.
It was packed.
Yeah. When I went to watch Obsession, when we watched Obsession, we went to the
yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like what I heard was Obsession's theaters were packed.
So it makes sense, and I think the reason why is because I think back then, and I think a lot of like, I remember watching a lot of old YouTubers back in the days who wanted to be, you know, actors or make
break out
movies
into
or whatever.
They
had this like old Hollywood thing where it was like, I gotta go to auditions, or I gotta somehow, you know what I mean, get some type of funding for this thing. And I think a lot of like the newer people nowadays, the same way where it was like, I'm gonna just upload my own videos up on YouTube and shit. They're doing that same shit where it's like, I'm gonna upload my own shit on YouTube, and I'm gonna have people damn near reach out to me almost, or I'm gonna have people notice me from the shit that I'm gonna put out.
And then they'll eventually reach out. Cause Curry, he was even gonna post Obsession on Shudder. Yeah. That was his original plan. So it was like, bro, there was a chance this dude wasn't even gonna put it in the theaters.
That's crazy work.
Imagine that, you know what I mean? And how much the return they got, bro. They quadrupled their money from this movie. You know what I mean?
Like, think about it. Like they said, like that shit hasn't been done since like E.T. came out, where it did better in like its 3rd and 4th week than it did in its opening week.
That's insanity.
Which is insane, unless it's like a holiday movie or some shit, where it's like a random horror movie in the middle of June or whatever it came.
It's not even like October or anything. Yeah,
like,
that's interesting.
Insane. Same thing with like Backrooms, and I think that shows right there that cinema in the theaters aren't dead. Yeah. It's just that we were tired of what we were getting for so long.
Yeah, so we're tired of getting schlop for the longest time, of just like, hey, let's just keep doing the same recycled schlop. So
over and over and over again.
Yeah, so definitely I think that we are in the era of getting a breath of fresh air a little bit, you know?
I definitely think that cinema is in the right place, movies in general is in the right place, and it's almost like a new generation is coming, and we're seeing it like live in front of us, and you notice it too, like you feel it, like holy shit, like the movies are back, you know what I mean? Even if you have like guys like, you know, like Ryan Coogler and all these dudes who are making like real original good shit, and even like the Safdie brothers coming out with like Marty Supreme and all this shit, right? Like they are coming with like new original shit that people love to see, and I think we're gonna definitely see more of that happening in the future.
100%, bro, guaranteed. I already know where this is going. It's only gonna go up from here. Shout out to everybody who's doing it, man. yeah, they're just giving the rest of us hope for the future of filmmaking. So
Yeah.
that's all I gotta say on the the topic. But guys, let us know what you guys think of the future of filmmaking. Do you guys think it's a good thing that YouTubers and social media influencers are getting into filmmaking, acting, things like that? And also let us know what you guys think about the video in general. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. See you guys.